Hello, everybody. Barry Johns here. Welcome back to another edition of Studio Talk. Today, I'm going to be talking about this particular microphone preamp. It is a microphone preamp by 7 Circle Audio. And what it really is, it's a combination of two particular things you order from their website. It has the N72 microphone preamp mounted in this chassis, which is their BC01. And so much like Hairball Audio, as well as, Cappy Audio and other things like that. This particular company is a company where you can kind of assemble your own, or you can buy everything pre-assembled. They also kind of take a unique approach that the others don't take, is they kind of copy what that Synergy Guitar Amps does if you're a guitar player, where you can buy all these various interchangeable modules to have different guitar amps all within either a single unit or a stereo unit. You can put them in heads and powered heads and all kinds of things like that. And so conceptually wise, it's the same basic thing. And so kind of let me really talk about that for a second before I get into this particular combination of microphone preamp and then the chassis, because you have multiple options with 7 Circle Audio. Now, like I said before, you can buy just the BC01 chassis here, if I can get that in focus. And that is basically the chassis that's pretty uniform and everything. In other words, each one of these particular either potentiometer locations, as well as the push switches. I'm doing a terrible job of doing it, but you have the flip switches here and everything. That's all universal amongst all their different modules. And so as an example, what you can get with this is this has the N72, which is based on the world-famous Neve microphone preamp that we all know and love. They also have an API version. They also have one. It says from a particular time frame. I'm thinking it's maybe Trident, but I'm not quite sure. And then they have one from the SSL 9000 series console, a microphone clone of that. In addition to microphones, they also offer a high-pass filter, a high and low-pass filter unit, a DI box for just nothing but DI. They also offer a compressor that's based upon the DBX 160 compressor that's used heavily in a lot of recordings, and it's really great and wonderful sounding on drums, specifically snare and kick drum. So anyway, so you can buy either, like they sell an 8-channel chassis, kind of thinking like a lunchbox kind of thing. 8-channel chassis where you can buy the chassis on its own and then individually add your own components to it as you go. Or you can buy a kit that kind of gets you started with the 8-channel chassis, and then as well as one particular unit, your choice that you can put in there. Of course, the price varies depending on what you're trying to do. And so it's a pretty unique concept if you think about it. Now, you could technically buy just one of these chassis as an example, and then there you go, one of these chassis as an example, remove the top, take that out, take the faceplate off, pull that out, and then put a whole new unit in there if you wanted to. Now, this particular chassis will go in, you can put 4 of them side by side each other and fit into a 19-inch rack, which is also another cool thing to have. If you didn't necessarily want to go with all 8, maybe you wanted to do 4, you could do 4 of these in one 19-inch rack, which is really cool. So you could have 2 API and 2 Neve as an example, and that's going to cover just about all the ground you're going to need for various types of tracking. You can use your interfaces preamps as an example on the rest of a drum kit. You could take the 2 API as an example and use that on the kick and the snare, or you could use the 2 API on your top snare and your bottom snare, and you could use the Neve as an example on your beater as well as your outer drum shell microphone. So many different options. Of course, you could do 4 API, you could do 4 Neve, you could do any combination in there that you wanted, but certainly having 2 API and 2 Neve would cover just about everything from a color standpoint that you need if you can get by with 4 as an example, right? And so you could do it any way that you want. And for example, you could do 4 of these with their API module and then come out lesser expensive than API's only 4, their particular 4-channel microphone, 19-inch rack that has 4 of their mic pre's in it, you'd come out quite a bit cheaper going this particular route. Now, from memory, I think the box itself, out the door or whatever, already put together with the input jack and the and that kind of thing, as well as the things on the back. I think that is $225, or you can put it together yourself. I think it was $169. So let's just say $225 put together if you're buying it assembled. And then the microphone preamp, I believe, was $369. So, that's around $600 or so for a full-on Neve style microphone preamp. Now, I will tell you, this thing is built like a tank. I mean, it is solid as a rock, and it is very, very, very heavy. So the craftsmanship and the workmanship associated with this is absolutely top-notch. I was very impressed with that. The weight of this thing alone is heavier than most 8-channel recording interfaces altogether. So really great unit. Now, if you're looking for audio samples, I don't particularly believe that you can truly demonstrate microphone preamps and a YouTube channel, YouTube video with their compression, everything like that, because the differences between microphone preamps can be quite subtle depending. There's so many variables. The microphone you choose, the right microphone, the right preamp. There's so many variables that come into play to truly get the most benefit out of a microphone preamp. But I can tell you this: I've been recording with this really heavily over the last 2 weeks. What slowed me down, and I apologize to 7 Circle Audio, I apologize, but I broke these 2 fingers on my left hand a few months ago, and so they're still healing, and so my playing has been quite limited, as you can imagine, and so that's been quite challenging for me because most of the sources I'm going to try this on are going to be acoustic guitar, mandolin, electric guitar, and then, of course, using the bass for the DI on all of those sources. I did track through them. Maybe didn't play to my best, but certainly well enough for tracking. And the unit sounded absolutely fantastic. I really liked it. So now, considering this particular unit I've got here is based upon the Neve microphone preamp, I thought I have several Neve clones here in the studio that I thought I would compare it to. I went immediately straight to the top, the best Neve clone that I have here in my studio, and that's my Great River MN500 NV, I believe that's what it's called, which is an absolute fantastic, highly accurate Neve mic pre-clone. And so it held its own without question, no doubt about it. So if you're looking at the cost of this unit completely assembled compared to that 500 NV, I think the Great River is probably about $150 more expensive than this one, and this one certainly held its own against it. The 2 other Neve style microphone preamps that I have here in the studio is I have a Warm Audio version as well as the Heritage Audio version. So if I were to rank these in order of the ones that I thought sounded the best, because I don't actually have a true Neve microphone preamp here in the studio, so I can't really compare it to that, but I can compare them to each other. And again, this does start to get subjective because I'm sure none of these, quite frankly, truly nail 100%. You couldn't even get 2 old Neve microphone preamps side by side that sounded the exact same. But I would probably rank them in this particular order. It would, I think, and all of them are absolute go-to microphone preamps, all absolute go-to. But I would say the Warm Audio is my least favorite. My next up would be the Heritage Audio. Then it would be followed by the 7 Circle Audio Neve preamp, and then the Great River. And I think I would be splitting hairs on the Great River. I probably chose that just because I'm so used to it. I've had it for a very long time, and I happen to love that microphone preamp. So that's kind of where I would fall in this. I do find it quite interesting what 7 Circle Audio does with the way they put these things together. From my understanding, I think you have to go straight to the company to purchase these things. They're not under distributorship or anything that I could certainly find. If they are out there, 7 Circle Audio, let me know, and I'll do a correction or certainly put a comment to the top of this. But I didn't see that out there. But that's the same is true for Cappy Audio and Hairball Audio and things like that also have build to order, or with the last 2, you can actually, there's plenty of people out there that will assemble them for you. You can buy them on Reverb, so those are options. And in those categories, both of those guys do a very good job. But Seven Circle Audio, you're doing a great job. I think it's worthy to get your name out there, so other people can kind of get an understanding of what you're all about. I'll be honest with you. This was my first experience with any of your products, and I think I'm very interested in trying some others out. I'm very interested in seeing what that compressor sounds like and getting a feel for that. I'd also be very interested in trying out the API to see what that sounds and compare it against a couple of my API clones here in the studio. Would love to be able to do that. But based upon my experience with this particular unit, it definitely holds its own and should be a consideration for you if you're looking for a Neve style preamp. If you're looking for one preamp to kind of get you started, most of them out there are in 500 series these days, which means you have to go invest in a 500 series chassis and things like that. And that's another thing to consider in the price comparison. I guess that makes a Great River even more expensive because it's not the full-on chassis and everything, whereas the price compared to this is the same. So I guess officially, now that I think about this as I'm kind of recording this, I think probably where we are with that is you're talking about, I guess, basically $369 compared to $600 and something dollars. So that makes this even more compelling. That's not a true apples to apples because that does have a full-on chassis, at least a faceplate. I guess I should say a faceplate that goes on it. Whereas if you buy the mic preamp, you don't get the faceplate. You actually have to add that on top of it, but that's a nominal charge. But I think these particular units coming from Seven Circle Audio, assuming that the other things they make are of the highest quality of this one, I think it's going to be great. I will say the headroom was actually fantastic on it. It has plenty of gain. It can push even the most lowest output of microphones. It also has a 20 dB pad on there if you need to do that, if you've got too hot of a source coming in. All the typical things that you would expect to see in a professional grade recording microphone. So this opens up a lot of options for you. If you're just looking for one, you want to jump into it, this is certainly a great way to go. And then you can continue to add, and once you get up to 4 of them, you can buy a 19-inch rack so that you can take that on the go if you need to and really kind of keep that a little more organized. So if you're considering Seven Circle Audio, this particular channel gives it a 2 thumbs up. I think they're really great products, and this particular microphone sounded fantastic to my ears. So if you like the things I talk about on this channel, do me a favor, hit that like, that subscribe, and the notification bell. Help me grow the channel. Really appreciate it. I work hard for you people. Know that. For the record, I was not paid by Seven Circle Audio for doing this particular video. They shipped the unit to me for me to try out. And so that's how it kind of went down. All right. So don't think that I'm somehow being influenced by them. They have not seen this video. They have no idea what I'm going to say. But I think, considering my experiences, I think they're going to come out and be happy they sent it to me at the end of the day, because I was very well pleased with this particular microphone preamp. So again, talk to all of you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.